What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are ready for the market. We got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andy, Bill, Brian, Frank, Joe, Lauren, Marius. Good morning to Peter. We got Wendy in the house. You guys are piling in. BEA, beautiful. We got me in the house. Good morning, me. It's like I'm talking to myself. We got Lala. Good morning to you. We got Jason. Good morning to you. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. They're just not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe buttons. But um, decently quiet-ish morning. We had a retest yesterday, so SPY obviously retest gap, still all inside that big Wednesday candle, nothing too crazy. And then we do have our 20 EMA putting a little bit pressure on the bulls to see if the bulls can really gather a little bit of strength to finally break out of here. Otherwise, not a terrific open. The one good thing yesterday is we did have a pop right into the previous VPOC, so we talked about that. We talked about two levels where this market at open could hold yesterday. That first level, 542.26, that did not hold, and then the second one was a full-on retest. So that retest is in there. We still have a bullish engulfing candle. All of this happening with inside that big green candle. So for right now, we don't have any like 100% this thing is definitely looking XYZ, but we are still playing inside that candle with that higher range of it. So not a bad location. For today, bulls really have to do a little bit more this morning. I don't know if they'll do it before the bell, but you really want to see 540 get taken out. Your next level to the higher side, about 542.37. If we could break above it, then you got levels to I'd say probably get up to like 556.05. First one before that, I see a little bit level somewhere around 551.48. I think Tony put out his zones in terms of where we could head this week, in terms of where the options are. So big resistance somewhere. He was saying about 550, 560. So I'm with him on that. I think extended target if we could get there, 563.61. Short week, we only got today and 2 more days of trading left until we get a little extended weekend. So. Uh, is it possible? Yeah, we could have one just one statement from Trump, and that could get us up there. But I think that would be my high end range for this week, 563.83. If we could get there, that should be a really good resistance. Otherwise, I said this in the mentor group yesterday too. I think options are essentially what moves the underlying market, and you do have options coming into yesterday, fairly cheap for calls, not too expensive, and there's still probably a lot of puts on the table. So um, I wouldn't be surprised if we get this bought up into we'll stay relatively bullish for today, tomorrow, and then I'd have to watch Thursday. Thursday, I think, would be the day that they just kind of close out, sell some of those calls before the options actually expire. So, but that might be enough to give us a little bit of a bullish edge, at least for the next 2 days. And then again, I personally would not be surprised if we get a little sell off on Thursday. But again, we'll see what happens and market gets crazy. Comments are made, and we'll see. Otherwise, for today, watch yesterday's VPOC or Friday's VPOC. That could be the next support, although we've hit that already. So if we do get down there, which right now from where we open, we have resistance right above us. We have a little bit more room to the downside than to the higher side. Um, for maybe a quick drop, we'll see what happens. But we got 534.36. Again, that has been hit yesterday. So if we hit there again, it might be a little more likely we make it down to this 524.29 in the bear case. But where we're sitting right now, not a huge conviction in either direction. And then we have to start at least breaking 540.32-ish. On the SPY, we got Q's. Looks very, very similar to the SPY. So everything that's happening, nothing has really changed since that big Wednesday candle. We're all just trying to figure out where things should be priced at. And right now, at least again, we are still higher than the 618 retracement of that big candle from the downside. So we're higher than that. We're at the still relatively high end range of that Wednesday candle, so not horrific. And then we have good support somewhere around 455.21 for today. And then we have 454.45 for today as well. That being said, both of those levels have been taken out. If we start getting down there, it is a little bit easier to break. And then we got 445.88 today. Resistance not too far away from us, so that's going to take us up into yesterday's VPOC. That's somewhere around 459.24. And if we could get through that, especially if we get a close, you do have that 20 EMA, but I think my target would take us at least up to 466.80 stretch target for the week. I think takes us to about 475.11. So we'll see if we get good news any direction. I think we still have Jerome Powell talking tomorrow. I'm not sure if we have too much on the agenda for today. We did have some earnings come in. I think J&J actually came in. They had an upgrade yesterday. They had a good report actually. They beat and then they came in with higher guidance, also raised the divvies as well. Bitcoin is looking decent, so maybe we see a little pop on Bitcoin land today. I've got one big key spot which we've already hit this morning, so if we could start making a little bit more momentum, we could get past 85,867. That could take us into 86,899. So watch the MSTRs, the coins, the Mars, the Riots, the Misties, all of them may be decent if the Bulls could put in just a little bit more effort. There's not much holding us back for maybe about another $1,100. If crypto could get going, maybe that's enough to also spark some bullish, or if there's a reason Bitcoin could get going, maybe there's enough reason for SPY to move as well. Let's take a look real quick at J and J since we were just talking about it. No, I had an extra N for good luck on that one. We got Johnson and Johnson is gapping down after a good report, which again, a little bit of what this market is. It's fading everything. If things are low, you buy it. If things are high, you're gonna sell it. Breakouts have been very tough. We had two really good trades yesterday, and I just could not make money on them. It was wild. We missed targets by like 12 cents on both, and then they started to kind of reverse on us. So just that type of market we're in. It's gonna happen. We have earnings. J&J beat by 7.34%. You had 1.55% is the um, revenue beat, so not bad. And again, they did increase guidance, which I didn't think we were going to see a lot of the guidance increase. They also raised the divvy, so everything you would love to see in a company, and they still just do not hold this move. So gapping down, look for a little bit of support on this one, somewhere around 152.09, and then big support somewhere around 151.51. The good five ones. But see if that wants to hold there. Maybe get your intraday bounce if you're going to try to play J and J. Boeing, I see on the list. Boeing, and again, we're going to get the back and forth continuously. We really have to settle down with China before we get a little bit more clarity on things. But Boeing has canceled a whole bunch of Boeing orders, so Boeing is now a little less on the agenda to do with making some planes. They have a little less workload, I guess. But they switched it over to Airbus. China also announced that they're going to be making their own airline as well. So that should be in the works. But bad news for Boeing. They are getting a gap down today. Um, Interesting location on this one. So we are holding for right now a little bit of support. And as long as we hold this, I don't think I want to play this one short, but this is 153.48. So let's see if we can get past that if you do like it short. Otherwise, I think we bounce here a little bit. Probably come into like this 154.88 zone. I think that would give you a better opportunity to short. It is a little bit of a retest gap completely from yesterday. And if we somehow make it up there, that's all the way back to 160. But holding some support, if it breaks down, again, this 153.48 zone, there's not really much holding us back into probably about 148.94. That would provide you a decent little short opportunity with potential to get down to 144.76 for today if things start to look a little bit more ugly. But for right now, I don't think I'd be panic selling. I don't think I'd be rushing to go short on Boeing until we see a little bit of a further down push. Otherwise, that's probably a spot we could at least temporarily hold. I don't think I want to play bullish either. It's not great news for Boeing. And then they will have to work themselves all the way past like 154.99 if they can. Then the full-on retest up to like 159.18 makes sense. So right now, Boeing, a little bit of a do-nothing zone for me. It's got good range either way, but we have to break out of the small range first and then just kind of play momentum with that one. We got Baba. Baba. Baba is gapping down a little bit, but still inside day range. You got a lot of room on this one if you fully come back to this VPOC from I believe what's that Friday. Yeah. So we got 105.50 if we get back down there. Otherwise, pretty fairly good gap that we had yesterday. decent push right into a resistance. So I would have been out taking this trade somewhere around 114.94. Would have missed a little bit on that little wick. Other than that, just hanging out. It's small pullback, pretty decent move we've had yesterday. Uh, Big resistance on this one, so watch for. I have a VPOC lining up from February 11th. Again, not the strongest one in the world, but it also does line up with pretty much the closing price of yesterday. So we'll see if we get through that. Otherwise, that's probably where our initial resistance comes in. We have a little bit of room to the downside if we pull back. I don't really want to see this 105 50 zone kind of hit, but maybe we come in if we do sell off. Things get a little ugly for Baba. 109.70 would be a target, giving us decent room to the downside. Otherwise, it's very hard to go bullish on Baba right here, but if we start climbing above 115.07, that would be my cue. That would probably with a lot of room to the higher side. 118.35 is the next stop. You got 119.13. And then really, till we close this gap and hit the VPOC, that would take us back to 129. So a lot of room to the upside still. If you do like Baba a little bit longer term, we'll see. We got MS. MS is just hanging out for now. So nothing too crazy on Morgan Stanley. Goldman Sachs, though, they did authorize a huge buyback program. So we'll check that one out next. I'm not sure if it really moved or did anything off of it, but they did authorize a huge buyback program yesterday, which would be pretty phenomenal. Otherwise, you got to the downside on Morgan Stanley 108.28. To the higher side, you got probably about 110.06. And we'll just chop it in that range. If this one breaks either way, you don't really have too much room on either side of it, unless you're preparing for kind of a swing trade and thinking some of these levels get taken out. But huge level of resistance if we break the 110 zone. And maybe that's enough for a day trade, but that would take you to 112.43. I think that's where it probably stops. You have your VPOC from that Wednesday, plus you have that 20 EMA as well. To the downside, if you end up breaking through this 108.28 zone, the next spot you got is 106.74. So a little bit of room. Again, if you have a tight setup, you might be able to make it work. I think there might be some better opportunities out there, unless, again, you're looking for some kind of swing trade or something else. Very hard to go bullish when all the moving averages are above you. They look like they're starting to trend down further. Otherwise, maybe this thing comes back and you eventually have some kind of push to like $100.09. I got the Lux Algo sitting somewhere around 85.74. So could be some more room longer term, but for day trade, I think a little bit tight. Apple's an interesting one. So I was meeting with Lou. I'm not sure if Lou's here, but yeah, we met last night. We were just going over some charts, and we were talking about Apple, and we were looking at this 198 zone pretty heavily. 198.08, 197.97, somewhere in that zone. Essentially, what's happening, we don't like to see. Obviously, they had great news in terms of they're getting excluded, not specifically Apple, but phones and computers, which is obviously a huge component of Apple, uh, from the tariffs. But then also the news came out that they're still getting tariffed. It's just moving into a different bucket, and we don't know what's happening yet. So we still really don't know what the exclusions are, how much the exclusions are. Trump did say yesterday during his meeting with the president from El Salvador that he is flexible on Apple, but he still wants some tariffs. So we'll see. But watch this. Essentially, I mean, we pulled back yesterday. It was a retest gap. We never really came in for a full-on retest. So watch this 198 zone somewhere around there. We'll split the difference. We'll go 198. See if that comes in for that full retest. See if there's a bounce there. I think just the fact that Trump is flexible on it means that there's some positivity where it might actually stop going much lower from here until you get earnings, and we'll have to see guidance and numbers and things like that, how things are affected. But like I said, tariffs have been talked about. We wouldn't wake up and it's just a random day of tariffs. Tariffs have been mentioned throughout the campaign. Tariffs have been mentioned since probably day one of Trump being in the White House. And then as we got more and more closer to like tariffs are going to happen, I think people started thinking maybe I should be buying that computer or iPhone ahead. So I think the earnings might be decent. But you have 14 million people that work for Apple, and you have plants all over the place. It's not a quick move to just open up in the U.S., even though Apple said they will open a plant in the U.S. just to kind of avoid the tariffs. It takes some time. So I think Trump knows that. I think the flexibility will be there. So I think that holds up. The guidance, I don't know how you guide on Apple if you don't know what the tariffs are. So that I think might be the killer for Apple potentially. But watch that 198 for today. I think that's a good zone. I think the momentum really from where we're sitting Monday probably still will get bought up. Look for resistance today around 205.74. So that could give you roughly about a seven, almost $8 trade. So not bad. It is something I'm going to watch. Pretty high on my list already. So not bad there. Boeing. I forget if we looked at Boeing or not. We'll pull it up again. Yeah, we did. We looked at Boeing. We got Amazon, AMZN. Amazon. Could we get a close back above 183.62? That's what I'm going to need to see. Otherwise, all of this is kind of just a retest. You have a big volume zone. We've just been kind of shaking around, nothing too crazy. I think your sign on this one, and we're just in some shop. It is gapping down, not much, 20, 30 cents, something like that. But let's see if there's a little retest into 182.84. That's your spot if you want to try to go short. You're probably going to want to get your stops around 185.30, somewhere around there. But really just kind of congested at this point. Hasn't really done much since that Thursday candle. We've not only been inside the Wednesday, but we've really just been hanging out inside this Thursday candle. Even that bullish momentum kind of just hung us up, but seems a little heavy up here. You have your next kind of retest spot, 171.44, so decent amount of room to the downside if you can get there. But first, you got to break through and get some closing below 181.29. So a little bit more choppy on this one to the higher side if you think this thing breaks out. First level of resistance, well, if you get out of this jam here, which for today, I think your higher end is about 184.53. If you start breaking that, you might have a chance to 187.38. You've already hit that. Next one, 192.56. Next one up to like 195.67. So I don't think we get there today. I think that's probably a swing trade if you're bullish on Amazon. Otherwise, you really kind of got to get out of this chop first. We'll push it a little higher. We'll watch what Amazon wants to do for today. We got B. Giles says CELH. Ray Helms in the house. Good morning to you. Real Virtual says terms and conditions are changing for every platform, PayPal, Hood, Charles Schwab's, and many others. I don't know. I get updates all the time. So when terms change and I get that notification, even I think my bank sent me a letter saying, yeah, terms are changing. And then my response is I don't really know what they were before, to be honest. I just put money into the account and then do what I have to do with it. So whatever your terms are, I'm probably not the one that's going to feel any effects because I had no clue what they were before. But yeah, so some of the I think Charles Schwab, I think there was a notification that some terms are changing. Again, I don't know what the terms were before. I haven't read any fine print ever in my life, so just take that for what it is. So how many people are really getting affected? I'm not sure with some of that, but Celsius is Celsius had a good move, so we hit $38 as soon as yesterday, pretty much at open, kind of fell down from there. It was a retest gap. The momentum is right now short-term bullish. Maybe can hold on to this. We're below I think you got your immediate resistance somewhere around 37.30, and then you probably got another one around 37.14. I think to the downside, see if you're gonna hold like 36.33, and then I think a wild move takes you like 35.46. Other than that, retest gap. Technically, even though it's a red candle, it was bullish sentiment, and I think this is profit taking more than people wanted to short it. So for right now, I think I'd still have to lean very, very cautiously long. Still, it's got a big upside ahead of it in case it does break out. You're also above the 200. Can't say that about too many other stocks, but Celsius is achieving that goal above that 200 still. As long as it stays there, probably lean a little bit more bullish, continue with that momentum. Probably look to buy on pullbacks. And just be careful. Can get wild. Bullish go for candle on that Wednesday though. So not like it wasn't a bullish go for candle pretty much everywhere. We got TSM. TSM Taiwan Semiconductor. We got not really any movement. Nothing too crazy. A little bit of a gap up, so you're up about 30, 40 cents. Still inside yesterday's range. Immediate resistance is going to look at 156.88. So a little higher, 157.01. You start getting above essentially 157, then you might have a bullish target into this 159.92. That would be pretty incredible. That would be one of the first ones so far that we looked at on the list that for that next target makes it up past the essentially closing price of that Wednesday candle. So kind of a big deal on that one. Otherwise, it gives you about $2 to the high side, but you have that one little resistance, 157 somewhere. Otherwise, to the downside, look for some kind of support. And if you do like it long and want to buy a dip, I don't know how much of a dip you get, but 155.74. And then if that starts to break, you're probably heading back, hedge your position, flip your position. But otherwise, I think somewhere around 151.43 gets you slightly better risk reward in a bullish direction if you do like it that way. TSM definitely in the headlights for any tariffs and China back and forth and all of this stuff. So news can change things. And then the pattern again that we've been seeing this week is just chaotic in the morning, just absolutely kangaroo market all over the place until 1 o'clock. Watch 1 p.m. It did it again yesterday. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I was doing I was jumping on the Zoom call for the master group, and right as I hit like join group, I see like a big candle come in everywhere in a bullish direction on the market. So manipulated much? Maybe. I'm not sure. But watch that 1 p.m. Uh, there's been a lot of money I've made from the 1 p.m. to the closing, where normally these markets, like you get good volatility, good moves early morning, and I don't know, it's just been different. We got AMD is chilling for now. Not really that great of an open, not that bad of an open. So it is gapping down a penny. So essentially where we close, look for resistance today, 94.91. That's a very short distance away, and the immediate support is 94.26. So right now it's kind of just hanging out. Yesterday it was a retest gap, so we haven't really, I don't think we've faded the momentum on it. I think we just sold into a really good selling price. Top of that candle makes a ton of sense. For a bigger move on AMD, we got to get above it. We get above it. There's nothing holding us back to about 101.59, all the way back up to about 102.77. So we'll see what happens on this one. But for right now, and then even if you break down, you have 93.21. We didn't quite get down there yesterday, so that could be a bounce spot. And then if that breaks, maybe you have a stronger pullback to like 88.49. But otherwise, kind of just hanging out, not doing too much. Nike is not a great open again, inside day, so not a lot of edge. I haven't seen too much edge on much today. Very, very quiet market. We got 55.11, should be some kind of support. It technically is a retest gap. So see if it drops another, I don't know, couple pennies. 6 cents if any buyers want to come in, and then you're targeting about 55.74. Not much room. I'd almost want to see that break and then have a better opportunity if it get there, not sure, but 54.29, something like that for a potential bullish buy, but just choppy for now, hanging in the zone. The one that I liked a lot yesterday, I thought they had a lot of opportunity. We didn't trade it because it didn't give it to us, but Shopify had a phenomenal opportunity yesterday. So good hammer that we put in on Friday. Some decent volume, nothing too crazy. You're now telling me these bulls are going to gap up above it. Fantastic. Looks good. You're above all the levels. You got a good target up to 91.49. Everything is in the bulls court. And then this one not only retested, so failed gap and go, but it retested past the first support, 84.43. It dropped past 83.21 and closed below it. So now I think that probably the bulls aren't really there in Shopify. They had their opportunity yesterday. So I think if this one comes back for a retest that open, there might be a short. Let's see. Maybe it just gets played around with. But look for somewhere around 83.10 because you do have a lot of room to the downside on this one to like 78.91. Probably going to have to be a little tight of a setup. But I was going through the charts before. That looked like a decent potential move to the downside. So Shop is back on my list, but with a little bit of a flip because the bulls just could not get the job done yesterday. So we'll see if there's any buying and opportunity to short somewhere. I might take a look at that one, but they kind of overdid it on the selling And again, small. It's still inside day barely, but it is a retest gap too. So probably don't short right at open. Otherwise, we'll see which way this thing wants to move. And then if you like it long, you're probably eyeing down the 70, 80 at this point. Palantir was one we had a good short on, and then this is one of the ones we missed our. We talked about this pre-market too. I was like, man, we're gapping up right into a good resistance. I like this thing short. We have 3 days of green candles, good retest, and then they kind of forced us to push our stops down as they just overextended on their retest. Okay, if that's how it wants to trade, that's how it wants to trade. But if you hung in there, if you didn't move your stops, you would have made 1.2 plus. I think we cleared like I don't know zero point 0.4 on the trade, something small, nothing crazy. But otherwise, yeah, I think right now we're hanging out. We have good support somewhere right around this 92.39. So we'll see if that wants to hold. Yesterday's VPOC is still a little bit higher than that. So see if there's some support around 93.17. But again, inside day candle. As long as you don't really break that candle, if you do, then I think you got a target down to like 88.46, target down to 87.42. To the higher side, if you want to try this thing again, you're just gonna be patient. See if you can get back to this 95.79 zone, to maybe at least give yourself good risk reward to a short side. But for right now, again, just kind of hanging out. Not a lot of things going too crazy today so far. That's usually the sign for a really big day somehow. Usually the sign. SOXL, is it cheap or trash? What's your time frame? So the thing with any of these ETFs, there is fees involved, especially when you're going 3 times. When you start going 3x, they're really built for trading instruments and not so much investing instruments. So be very, very careful. They will rebalance. They will mess around with the funds, and if you're just holding it as like a buy and hold, besides like a swing trade where you're in it for a week or two, that's different. Day trade is good. Long-term investment, be very, very careful on all of these uh, three X's. By the time the margin comes in, by the time they rebalance, the charts don't really reflect where they're at. So just be careful on that. Is it cheap? Yeah, it's low. I'll put it that way. So it's low. You do have good support down here, lots of volume. If you want to try to establish a swing trade, see if the high of yesterday wants to break out. And then I'd probably put some kind of stop, maybe around $7. It's got plenty of room if you get that momentum to step in. Uh, all those moving averages tell you we are definitely in a bearish direction, but we have some sideways chop. Maybe it's enough to get this thing going, but the low of this little pivot, I'd say, just be out. And again, it's not usually a buy and hold forever type stock. Otherwise, that is the morning bell. So everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you've not done so already. Otherwise, be careful today. Seems quiet, a little too suspiciously quiet, but it does seem a little quiet today. So don't force trades if you don't see the trades. You guys